Welcome to the Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Hello.
And this week on the Weekly, Starfinder 2nd Edition playtest. Free League, their slate for 2024. And Free RPG Day of 2024 gets a date. Too many Skirmish games. So we have news of 3 new releases for licensed IP Skirmish games. How many more can you possibly play? And on a sad note, Dragonlance, the live action series, has been canceled. So poor Joe, somebody send him a kind word. All right, so let's start with. This is something I missed last week. Let's before we get started, a comment. There was a comment on one of the videos that I should address and have completely avoided. So Frankie Frankie the Shipwright says, I have a question. Are you going to cover the lore of the other megacorps in Mutant Chronicles like you did for Capital? So we did like a megacorp focus, and because in the lore videos that we did, we talked about the cartel and we talked about Cybertronic, but the four original mega corporations have a lot of details that it's interesting about their history and structure and everything. And so I did one for Capital, and then Modifius gave up the license, so they'd stop supporting 3E. So they basically killed the 3E role-playing game, which is what we were supporting with those videos. And then Warzone Eternal was happening and not happening and not happening again. And so that kind of like stalled content for Warzone Mutant Chronicles. But we do intend, I think we need to kind of refocus, take a look at what they're going to do with this Warzone Eternal lore, see if they've moved things ahead or they've kind of stepped back or what they want to do with that, and then try to figure out how to make the videos useful for the people that are playing the games now. Because unless you're going to play a dead game, unless you're going to play 3rd edition or one of the earlier editions of the Mutant Chronicles role-playing game, the lore is not, it's made for that Modifius 3rd edition. So we'll probably do a rollback edition of the main video and take out some of the strange things that Modifius added, like White Star and stuff, and get people kind of like able to use that for the older part of the setting or older versions of the setting. But yes, we do intend to make more videos. I just haven't found a good way to focus it in, like what they would be useful for, because I like to do videos like kind of with the audience in mind, so we can make it more focused. So yes, we do intend. So 3 more, and probably Mishima is next. I think that might be the more interesting and one that people don't know so much about, that are like more current fans. But yeah, I'm curious to see. I really want to see the book, what the fluff looks like in the book for Warzone Eternal. I'm a little worried. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but they are playing in an earlier part. The Warzone setting is a little bit before what the role-playing game got to. So we'll see. So thank you for the question. And yes, we do plan more lore content. It's just that with kind of what the IP is doing at the moment, it's hard to judge how that would be useful. But it's fun. I mean, it's a great setting, and it was fun to read those books. Those books got me so interested in running an older version, like a basic role play version or something of Mutant Chronicles to get that feel, of those books, that old crusty feel of Corp versus Corp. But we'll see.
You tricked me.
Uh-oh.
When you set that up, I thought this was going to be like some crazy YouTube flame comment or something. But it was actually a positive kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, it was just something I felt bad. Some people have added comments like that. Are you going to do more? It's like, we will definitely, because they're really fun to do, and I think there's not anybody really thoroughly covering that background. It's just that there isn't, I mean, once there is the new RPG for the Luna City, kind of Luna City Blues, so you have an investigation with detectives on Luna, that would be cool. So then it might be fun to address, like do a whole video series on Luna and how it's organized and how messed up that is. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see where it goes, but you definitely want to finish the other 3 corps. So thank you for the question. Mm-hmm. Now back to our regularly scheduled program, Starfinder 2nd edition playtest. So the release, there's 3 PDFs right now. And the first one came out, I believe, in December, maybe November or December of last year. So it's the playtest is ongoing. And so Pathfinder has Paizo has posted an update on this, and they're saying they've uploaded the first products for the upcoming Starfinder 2nd edition playtest. So I guess maybe people that registered, or those were things that it began end of last year. But we're looking at a release for 2025 of the 2nd edition of Starfinder, and basically what they're going to do is kind of bring it in line with the changes that they made for Pathfinder, and make it like kind of almost the rule set is cross-compatible. So the Starfinder playtest rulebook will be 264 pages, a softcover playtest book. So in the past, and especially when they did Pathfinder 2nd edition, they did a softcover book, a free PDF, and then they did like a deluxe hardcover and then a faux leather. They went crazy with this, because it was their first like step of, into doing their own. It wasn't 3.5 anymore. It was their own system. So there were all these crazy books of these like playtest unfinished rules that you could buy, and they got pretty pricey. But they said this time, one book, the softcover release is the only physical book they're going to do. And of course, the PDF is available for free. The PDF products for the playtest are available for free.
Nice.
But this book will require the use of both the Pathfinder player core and the GM core books, because that's the rule set. So they're not going to repeat rules that you can easily access from those books. So the mechanics and the rules aren't going to be included in the playtest, just the Starfinder specific stuff. So that's the big change. And hopefully that's not going to shake. Hopefully there are people that they either play both, or they have both books, or they wanted to check out 2nd edition because for Pathfinder, because that might be a little daunting or frustrating if you want to see what's going on. But they do assure you that all relevant rules will be reprinted in the full release in coming next year. So in the playtest rulebook, you'll find the 6 classes: Envoy, Mystic, Operative, Solarian, Soldier, and Witch Warper. And the new ancestries, new feats, new spells, and new equipment system. And they will be splitting this content, of course, in the full release between the player-facing and the GM-facing books, just like they did with Pathfinder. And again, they reiterated no special editions, no hardback editions for these playtest rules. because it's they got a little carried away. And PDF is free. So the 2 adventures that are being released, the first one for your kind of level 1 characters is A Cosmic Birthday. So this is written by Paizo's senior developer, Jenny Jarzabski. And it's going to be set on Absalom Station for your first level players, and will include the event of the hatching of the planet of Octurne and the emergence of a new deity into the Starfinder core pantheon. That's a pretty big event for a playtest, but they're going all out. Yeah.
Wow.
And then they'll also release the flip mats, the kind of battle mats that they use for this. I think digitally you'll be able to get those. And then the second playtest adventure is Empires Devoured, and this will be a 10th level adventure. So I guess you're gonna be able to hopefully level pretty fast from that first adventure. And this will take place on the distant world of Kataria, where there's a historic peace accord being signed between 2 galactic superpowers. So no small events in Starfinder in this playtest. Nice. And they assure you that there won't be any slogging through wave-based encounters to like stress test their combat system. They want to focus on narratives and encounters that showcase the new evocative kind of storytelling that the second edition will be able to do. All new art and major setting events will be updated. And all of this stuff will remain relevant long after the playtest is over. So this hatching of Octurne is going to be a major event in the second edition, and you can play through it and I guess watch all the people that live on that planet die when a god bursts out of the planet they're living on. And but I thought that was fun. I mean, it's very, I don't know, it feels a little like Marvel-esque or something, like, you know, like a comic book kind of thing where they're like, be here for this event. It's a world-changing thing, and here's a free way for you to play it with our new system.
Yeah.
So the second adventure was written by Thurston Hillman, who was also the author of this update. He's the managing creative director for Starfinder, and said, "Don't worry, Technomancer and Mechanic are still planned as character classes. They just aren't going to be included in the playtest." So, Matt, do you have any interest in playtesting some Pathfinder?
I do. I've never played Pathfinder or Starfinder.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I've played 3 and 3.5 back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see how they're, you know, sort of extricating themselves from that system.
Mm-hmm.
But like the adventures you just described,
mm-hmm.
It sounds a little more fantastical than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was thinking more like Star Frontier's Traveler kind of thing, but it feels like it might be a little more. What's the D&D space game? I forgot already.
Yes.
Spelljammer.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. So, like the fact that there's gods, are kind of like what?
Right. Yeah, that was the thing.
There were no. I noticed in the classes that nothing sounded like it would be a class for like operating a starship either.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Nothing specifically pilot. I think there are like piloty abilities, and if I remember right, the Solarian is kind of the Jedi class. They are like they have their light swords of light. They're like these knights of light and solar power. Yes. But So Starfinder, we played a little bit of the basic setting, and then did Grimmer Space, like a third party setting that was really like a horror, like a space horror version of that, which was pretty gruesome and fun. It might be interesting to try. And it's funny that they're for a first also feels a little bit Dungeon Crawl Classics, where a funnel has this like epic, you know, birth of a demon god or something, and it's you're just a level 1 character, and you're like, okay, what do we do? So it's a fun idea. So they're definitely trying to get some interest in there. And I think it is, because from what I remember, the different settings, alien invasions and things, there were some pretty massive things happening in the Starfinder adventures. So it was not small. Yeah, it definitely felt more epic. But
so do they design their adventures to sort of like progress their lore along a timeline kind of thing?
I'm not. Yeah, this is the first. I'm not so familiar with the setting. The game master Jackson knows both the Pathfinder and the Starfinder setting really deeply, so he had a better sense of that. But I'm not sure. I think it does sound like it though, because they do the adventure path thing where it's like a campaign with many adventures in it, and it sounds like that if that wasn't their approach before, that's what they're kind of doing now, is moving things forward. But what I remember, the sense I initially got was that they wanted to leave a lot of things undiscovered in the Starfinder setting, and kind of have you follow, because they still have the society, like Pathfinder Society. There's a Starfinder Society, and they're trying to get you to discover the history and reveal mysteries and things of the setting. So yeah, we'll see. That was the thing that was the least compelling thing for me. I think it's the thing that they want to get people into because that's their regular releases and their kind of, special content. And the reason you go to your local game store is to play the society releases. But that was the least compelling thing for me. It's like, I don't want to join a club that would have someone like me for a member.
Yeah, same. Like I don't like that sort of comic book way to sell product, like you got to get them all, man. You got to progress the story and get all the related material. And it's like, no, just make a good adventure. And if I like it, I'll run it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That kind of like, peer pressure to participate in something. And the society organized play is a thing that that's not very inspiring, but I think it's a thing that kind of, generates loyalty and stuff. So they're not going to stop that anytime soon.
Yeah.
But so I'm curious. And maybe if we get a hold of Jackson, we can, I'm sure though, I think Jackson favors Roll20. So we'll all have to log into Roll20.
Why not? We're on like our fourth one right now.
Are you calling us VTT whores? Is that what you're calling us?
I'm calling us pan VTT.
Yeah, that's right. We are very pan virtual tabletop. That's true. We just can't be locked down. We're fluid in our taste.
Right. Yeah.
All right. But some fun news and some things we already know about. So moving to another publisher, Free League. So Free League unveils their 2024 games slate. So their releases for the entirety of this year, and we've already seen some of those releases. We're already playing one of those releases. So they are going to be releasing 2 new games and 11 expansions this year.
2 new games.
Yes. So the 2 new games are and they crowdfunded this as well. The tabletop Skirmish game, which we'll be talking about more of those later. Mutant Year Zero Zone Wars is going to be released Q2 of this year. And the Electric State Roleplaying Game. So based on yet another book similar to Tales from the Loop, based on it's more of a road trip kind of story, like traveling across the post something America with a lot of broken robots. But so Zone Wars and the Electric State are the 2 new games coming out. And I guess both of those were crowdfunded last year. So this is the retail release for those games. But here we go. Let's take a look at the rest of the things. And a few of these have already come out. So the Alien RPG got Building Better Worlds last month. So that was January 16th. Mutant Year Zero Ad Astra, February 13th. So that's coming up just before Valentine's Day. And then the end of February, the official release of the Bestiary for Dragonbane. So right now that's pre-order, and they have that nice green faux leather green with the gold super special edition. The Blade Runner RPG Case File 2 Fiery Angels is coming out this year officially. I pre-ordered it, so we'll see when that actually shows up. And then there are 2 releases for the Ruins of Symbaroum, the World of Symbaroum, and the Part 1 of the Throne of Thorns. So this is the 5e version of their dark fantasy game. And then the One Ring is getting Moria Through the Doors of Doran. For the One Ring, which they did crowdfund that as well. And then the Lord of the Rings role-playing game, the 5e, is getting Moria Shadows of Khazad Dûm, which I think at the same time, they're in the part of the same campaign. So this is stuff that they are just doing retail releases, but people, it's on the way. It's in the mail, as they say, for a lot of people. Towards the end of this year, we're going to be getting the Replicant Rebellion for the Blade Runner RPG. So a little bit more about the Replicant Underground and perhaps even more of the storyline, because we've already, Case File 2 establishes that it's a known thing that there are black market kind of bootleg replicants that are created by someone using stolen technology. So those things exist. So this may give you more options for how to play replicants and also how to deal with the world that's coming, the uprising that's coming in by 2049. And then Death in Space is getting an expansion, the Dead Flags Contracts. And then also Cyborg. Cyborg is getting Waste 20x4. So a couple of new scenarios, basically, for Death in Space and Cyborg. That's quite a bit. Yeah.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think I heard any Forbidden Lands in there.
You did not. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
I know that the creator, Eric Granstrom, is working on a big supplement for Alderland, which is the human civilization south of the Forbidden Lands. And maybe that's probably going to get kickstarted or something at the end of the year or something.
Yeah, so maybe for next year. Yeah, because these are all just full retail releases, not crowdfunding campaigns or anything. So we may see some Forbidden Lands in crowdfunding or pre-order, but not for full release yet.
Alien supplement is getting all kinds of buzz on the group for that on Facebook. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'd be curious to take a look at that. I bought the PDF, but I didn't download, or I didn't read any of it, and I'm curious about Building Better Worlds. So the Colonial Marines book. I have the digital version of that, but I don't have Building Better Worlds. I didn't pre-order that. So I'm curious. But yeah, Colonies does sound like an interesting. That seems like, I don't know what a better. But Colonies seem like there's a lot of campaign stuff that could go on in there, because you can do politics, you can do survival, you can do xenomorphs. So there's a lot. Yeah.
It's, and I know I've said this a couple times, but it is that question of the broader you make it, when is it not aliens anymore? Right. It's just a sci-fi game. You know?
Right. Yes.
Is Electric State in the same sort of world as Tales from the Loop, or is it a new thing from that artist?
I think it's a new setting for that artist, like similar to that other book, which I'm totally blanking on the title, which it had a kind of its own narrative, its own story. So this is basically like a post-apocalyptic America, like a post-capitalist, like collapse of capitalism in America, and just driving through a wasteland, or like, making your way through a wasteland that was the that was the American dream. So I'm curious, how that if it's survival, if it's mystery, if you're like uncovering, because how Tales from the Loop and even Vaesen and a lot, their adventures are called mysteries. Like it's a specific thing, that you travel somewhere to solve. So I wonder if they'll use that same sort of system where you're plotting a course. You got a big map and you're drawing this line, and your mysteries happen along the way. I don't know.
Or just play a bunch of 70s Bruce Banners solving problems.
Right. And then you just walk away at the end. Yeah. At the end of every campaign, it's just like, your thumbs out and you just walking down the road. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. I didn't follow the crowdfunding, because it did feel like, Tales from the Loop, but not, Things from the Flood, but not kind of like, so it was, I couldn't get crazy excited about the crowdfunding, so we'll see. Because I've never gotten Tales from the Loop to the table. I like that setting, I like those ideas, but I just have not been able to get anybody to play it.
I bet our online group would be down for that one.
Oh yeah.
We're pretty adaptable to the non-standard stuff.
Yeah, we should give that a shot. I would be curious, to see how that plays. All right, and we've got a date for the free RPG day for 2024. So that date is June 22nd. So Gaming Days LLC announced that June 22nd is going to be the event day. So head to your local friendly game shop, and there you'll find RPG adventures, previews, exclusives, and accessories distributed by some of the bigger publishers, to just, promote things that are going on, upcoming stuff. They're, lines of various accessories and games. So some of the publishers involved: Renegade Game Studios, CMON, WizKids, Artosarian, Cobalt Press, Lucky Duck Games, Goodman Games, Paizo, 1985 Games, Foam Brain Games, Serious Dice, and of course Evil Genius. Maybe they will release their copy paste version of Rebel Moon's their Rebel Moon RPG. We'll get a preview of that. It's Unrebel Moon. But yeah, so they moved the date later. And this is funny. Last year, they moved it from the 17th to the 24th. So they're kind of staying around that June 20 something this year as well. But the reason they moved it is because they wanted to avoid the release day for the Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth, the Magic the Gathering set.
Oh, God.
So they know exactly, they would destroy the business of those local game stores if they got in the way of a Magic release. So that's
Lord
pretty
of the Rings cash grab.
Yeah, right. That's pretty funny. Yeah, okay, guys, we won't mess with your day. We'll make it another day next weekend. So yeah, so head down to your wherever you buy games, and don't buy them from Amazon on June 22nd. Very good.
I was just gonna say, my local game store. I haven't been doing the RPG day thing for a while. Yeah, well, first of all, I don't like them that much anyway. But either way, they want you to like do stuff.
Oh,
to get stuff, and
yeah,
you know what I mean.
Right.
I don't really like sitting down and playing RPGs with randos. I just don't. It's not a thing I enjoy. I understand some people go to conventions and live for that kind of thing, but it's not my thing. And so I come to your store on free RPG days because I'm hoping to get some swag and maybe I'll buy something.
Right.
But don't make me sit down and pretend I care about this thing you're doing.
Yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, that is. And I guess they're just trying to stretch the stuff, because it's probably gone in the first couple of hours if they just put it on a table. But at the same time, making you jump through hoops. A lot of conventions started doing that too. Like they used to just like throw T-shirts at people. And now they're like, okay, now you have to play our scavenger hunt, and you have to go around with these clues. It's like, no. I don't need a free T-shirt. This promotion quality T-shirt that badly that I want to spend 20 minutes playing your weird little game. But yeah, a lot of conventions started doing that, and I think it is just to kind of like bottleneck the flow of the free stuff.
Yeah.
But I miss the days when swag was actually like just tossed to people. They were just like, girls in cosplay at booths just handing stuff out. Now now they're making you work for it.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I wonder that's and because that doesn't really connect you to anything. But I guess though, also, I think another factor is the the rise of eBay and people just, selling, if they're going to get free stuff, then that's all profit. If they could just grab a bunch of free supplements, it's all profit for people that don't have access to stuff, so they can throw that on auction sites and things and make a few bucks. So that kind of stuff is always, you always have to, watch out for that. So we'll see. Yeah. Orca says, don't be that guy showing up for the free Goodman Games adventure.
I'm not that guy. I'll at least buy some dice or something.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, Free Comic Book Day was kind of, that thing. They published like specifically, issue 0 or something of a series to give you a little taste of something. And they would just, the shops would just put those on a table and they would just, be gone by the end of the day. But I guess the shops feel like, we're just going to hand out dice and stuff. I guess, yeah. They want you to something.
It's a loss leader. It's drawing people into your store.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's that Black Friday super sale. Right. Yeah. So if you have a game shop that you have a good relationship with and doesn't mess around with you and make you do silly things, do the hokey pokey to get a free adventure. Yes, June 22nd. Okay.
Saturday.
Oh, yes. That's good. That's good. All right. And so we have an issue now, a thing we need to address. Uh-oh. So there is a glut when there's too much of something. There's a tremendous amount of licensed IP skirmish games hitting the market. So we already have the kind of ones that are getting the most, maybe the most new players are Marvel Crisis Protocol. Good things are said about that game system, but it is, Marvel, but it's the old kind of comic book designs of the characters. There's not so much of the, MCU looking stuff. And also Star Wars Shatterpoint. So those are two big IP games that are getting a lot of attention in the skirmish world, and kind of taking a bite out of better games. Like no one's trying Frostgrave, no one's trying Frostgrave or Stargrave if they're already deeply invested in Shatterpoint, and that's a bad thing. And also this is these games, especially the licensed IP games, are following more of a Games Workshop model where they're releasing the plastic is very overpriced. You have to buy the plastic to get the cards, and the cards have the stats, and then you have the official terrain and stuff that they are releasing, which is insanely overpriced. And so that's what they're really following, this, like, how much can we actually sell plastic for? And especially if it has a licensed IP. So two companies that are involved in this and releasing games based on the same property, but in a slightly different way, are Cool Mini or Not, surprise, surprise, and Night Models. And so they're both releasing skirmish games based on Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire. The only difference is one has a book license and one has a HBO TV license. So I don't know what that means, but so A Song of Ice and Fire, the miniatures game, is going to be, or I guess it's called, I'm sorry, A Song of Ice and Fire Tactics is going to be the Cool Mini or Not version. This is based on the books. This is the book license. And they already do a mass battle game. CMON does, called the tabletop miniatures game, Song of Ice and Fire. So this will be as a skirmish version of that. And they even say that players will be able to integrate their existing miniatures games into this new game. So the miniatures that were made, and especially the named characters and things, I think will have rules in this skirmish game. So that's, okay, that makes sense. There's a little bit of synergy there. But I'm guessing you haven't seen the promotion for they're crowdfunding this, and I'm guessing you haven't seen the crowdfunding promotion for this. They're releasing a miniature for this game, and it's not quite a miniature. They're calling it more of a playable diorama. This miniature will weigh approximately 10 kilos, 10 kilograms, and it's a giant 3D version of Drogon. Drogon kind of wrapped around a tower. It's this insane giant piece of plastic. Maybe Cthulhu Wars or something taught them. I think no, they didn't do Cthulhu Wars. I think CMON did a Cthulhu game with a giant Cthulhu miniature, like a foot tall miniature. And so now they got the same idea to do this for their skirmish game. And it's insane. Like when they show this, you're like, what am I looking at? How is this part of a miniature game? It's huge. It's a huge 10 kilograms of plastic. So I guess it's solid. It's not even hollow, right?
Wow.
Yes. So so you can use your miniatures from their previous game. And it sounds like it's going to be because you're playing on kind of cardboard tiles, and it's going to be a little bit more board gamey than a classic kind of skirmish, measuring, free movement measuring miniatures game. So and maybe that's a little bit more, also compatible with the rank and flank game that they did for in the first place. But so that's coming out, and when I saw that, I couldn't believe. I mean, just shipping that to Japan is going to be a ridiculous waste of time. So I don't know what I don't know if ordering something like that would even make any sense. And where do you I can just even imagine the little vacuum form tray that thing sits inside of another box. And it's insane that they keep doing these things. But Night Models.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So Night Models is the other version. So Night Models is doing their Game of Thrones game. So they're just doing the Game of Thrones miniatures game. And it's a traditional skirmish war game. There aren't any, or maybe there are some details. No, yeah, that's right. We don't have any details yet on the system on how this will play. But if it's similar to their previous games, they've also done licensed IP games before. So they were responsible for a Batman miniatures game, and they previewed their House Stark, House Lannister miniatures, and they are just uncanny likenesses of the actors from the HBO series. So yeah, I guess if you want to remember that series for whatever reason. So this was announced January 30th, and they said that it will be available in a few days. So soon. This should be coming out and should be available. And so it's just going to be probably a traditional skirmish game, not a grid or not, board game elements. You'll need terrain and you'll need a battle mat and stuff and a, probably 4x4 table. But but no information. You'll have to wait for the release of the game to see actually how it plays. But and the people, the CMON project, they're comparing because it's more board gamey, similar to the D&D release, that Onslaught game that they did. They're kind of like combat miniatures game, so similar in play. So, and CMON is also for their from their live stream, which was just a few days ago, they are saying that this game, the skirmish game, allows them to play in different periods throughout the Westerosi history. So you can play in different kind of parts of it. So play, times where Eddard Stark is, still alive, those kind of times. And the starter box will be the Battle of the Trident, and will be Robert Baratheon versus Rhaegar Targaryen. So yeah, they're going to jump back like even before the TV show. When that takes place for CMON. So that's a little bit of a motivation. And they do kind of a generic sculpts. They do like, things that represent the characters, depiction from the books like they did with their mass battle game. And CMON will use a motivation mechanic, which will mean that the champion or the kind of the name characters will have special scoring additions and special drives that will be unique to that leader or that character. And I guess they're calling those champions in the game. So yeah, so make some space on your shelf, Matt, for a gigantic Drogon miniature.
I look forward to you or Miguel telling me how much it costs you to get that shipped to Japan.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Yeah, it's silly.
I completely agree with the premise of the segment. There are too many skirmish games, and what's funny too is a couple things. One, how did 2 Game of Thrones skirmish games get licensed from separate companies? Does that mean that CMON's is maybe being classified more as a board game, and
maybe
that's how they're doing it? The other thing with that too is I think people overestimate the legs of Game of Thrones games because a lot of them have come and gone already. And, Fantasy Flight had a Game of Thrones war game, miniature war game, and it just disappeared. So I don't know, but that's a whole nother topic, like the overratedness of Game of Thrones. But anyway, was also funny to me is Shatterpoint, correct me if I'm wrong, but those are 40 millimeter miniatures. Yeah,
they're bigger. They're a larger scale, definitely.
And I think the mutant ones are too.
Oh yeah,
Mutant Year Zero ones, which is funny because then you're not going to be able to use them for Frostgrave or Stargrave or anything like that. Any of the more open format, play with what you want. They're just not going to look right with your other miniatures in those games.
Yeah, that's true. What if that was a conscious choice, because there are so many miniatures agnostic games, but they're all 28 millimeter. So yeah, if you make them a different scale, then that kind of screws it up. So they'll play your game, and they'll also buy your terrain. I think Marvel, the Marvel game, the Star Wars game, and probably one of the other games we're going to talk about will sell their own terrain. So they'll want you to buy that.
Yeah, it all feels very like they're trying to sell the stuff more like toys, and get the toy people and the collector people more than the gamers.
Right. Yeah. And these are recognizable characters. And even if you're not going to play the game very much, wouldn't it be cool to have a miniature of, Luke Skywalker? Yeah. Right. I think that's true. Oh wait, but we're not done yet. There is also another Skirmish game coming out, which I thought they've done this a couple times, but there's a new one coming out, Fallout. So Modifius is doing a Fallout miniature skirmish game. So it's Fallout Factions Nuka-World, and there's already a quick start for this to take a look at, and this was announced back in 2022, so 2 years ago, and it's going to be a small scale skirmish game that will pit basically gangs of these factions from the Fallout world in the remains of Nuka-World. So a theme park introduced during Fallout 4's DLC. So they're basing in a very specific area. So so this is going to be the thing that probably will get the attention from this is the designer of this game is a experience or kind of a popular designer from Games Workshop. So he was involved in Necromunda, the kind of maybe the new incarnation of Necromunda, because it sounds like he's a younger guy. So James M. Hewlett is ex GW staff, and he's worked on a lot of popular stuff for them, and so people have a lot of excitement about what this is going to be like. It's going to be a D10 system, and they said with a streamlined resolution system, and you'll be able to build your crew and select ploys to use against your foes in kind of a player versus player. And I'm sure each of the factions will play a little different. Will have abilities that the other ones don't. But so again, more. So there was already a Walking Dead game from, I think Mantic did that, like a skirmish type game. It says, they're just everything. And there's been Cyberpunk, that Cyberpunk Red got its own skirmish game. I mean, they cannot stop with the recognizable. I guess because producing that many miniatures is not insane. It's not like too difficult, and especially if you're going to do things like factions where you can just keep adding them, and if the game totally flops, you can just kind of stop expanding it.
The one thing I would say for the Fallout and for the Mutant Year Zero is at least those are dovetail in with a role-playing game from the same company,
right?
So there's a synergy there. There's like an extra bonus to buy those things. Unlike, I mean, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but is Game of Thrones RPGs not technically still in print, right?
I don't think so. Yeah. Nobody's refreshed that at all. Yeah.
And who knows what's going on with Star Wars these days? I don't.
So. Yeah. That's so weird. They reprinted those old books, those Fantasy Flight books, but that's it.
And you just did an unboxing with Gangs of Rome, which is a skirmish game, correct?
Yeah, that's a skirmish game as well. Yeah.
What was your overall impression of that one?
Oh, I liked it. I like the miniatures are great, and I haven't gotten through the whole rule book yet to see like how your characters like can jump in and like I think the mob basically can spawn your gang members, and it looks like the rules for elevation and stuff are really critical. Like there's a whole set, and there's even like a special expansion if you really want to get into like fighting in a like kind of a construction site, like how scaffolding and elevation can affect the gameplay and the objectives and stuff. But yeah, I like that a lot, and I think they did a really good job of setting it so you're basically playing an ambitious, either merchant or senator that's trying to amass power in, the early days of Rome, and you're using gangs to take over territory. You're just like paying off groups of people. So you're playing a character. There's an interesting role play element. You're not just this, god controlling. You're not the leader of the gang. You're actually the patron of this gang, or you're the person, vying for more influence and resources in Rome. So I like that element of it too. It made the gameplay have a lot more kind of narrative feel to it.
So it does have kind of ongoing campaigns on the side to it.
Yes. Yeah.
How many people? Do you think, will it accommodate more than two people? Or?
Yeah, I think there were rules. I think it goes like because they have some kind of campaign or kind of like more tournament structure things where you're taking. I think it goes up to 6 I think you can play up to 6. Yeah, because you're so it won't be 6 all at the same time, but 6 people can be involved in a campaign, all vying for. So you're going to kind of be, depending on where your territories like kind of meet against each other, then you'll be facing off against each other to either win or lose ground. So
Nice.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was a really really well done, and it's metal miniatures. It's nice. The only frustrating part with that, it's metal miniatures with MDF bases. So dealing with that puddle base, everyone is going to be like standing on a little mountain if you use sand. But what they suggest and what they show you is doing a kind of a cobblestone texture with like green stuff and things like that. So that'll kind of eliminate that lump, because you can incorporate that into the the cobblestone. But and they do the Footsore Miniatures does a whole range of historical miniatures, and but this is their game system, like their new version of their Roman gang skirmish game.
That's cool.
Yeah. So we don't need another one of these. I can't believe they keep producing them. And this is, I guess, because Modifius does a Fallout RPG. I think they've done... I know there's Fallout board games, but I don't think Modifius has done that. But I'm not sure. I think there is there is a skirmish game. There is a skirmish game that's just basically it's got a lot of tokens. I remember that must be maybe that is Modifius. So there already is kind of a skirmish game that's more like the main setting, where you're playing like a vault dweller kind of character interacting with the other factions, but that's like basically anywhere in the world. And this is going to be gang wars in the Dead Amusement Park. So it's a little bit different flavor, and it looks like a different rule set as well. It's a new rule set. So I don't know. So look forward to the launch in April of Fallout Factions Nuka-World. And we'll see how that goes. Yeah. So far they've showed off the Disciples versus Operators pack. So they're gonna do faction packs of gang versus gang. So yeah, we'll see how that looks. The miniatures are very unusual. There's a lot of like mutated and I didn't play that DLC, so maybe that is part of the thing. Is there's a lot of crazy mutants from the wasteland that kind of meet together. So the miniatures are a little bit more interesting than just your regular ghouls and power armor and stuff from regular Fallout. So maybe they're trying for something a little more colorful, a little more over the top.
Yeah, I'm sure they're hoping they're going to get a good bounce when the Amazon series hits.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's probably explains the timing. Yeah. Oh, I wonder what that's going to be like.
We'll see.
Oh man,
I do like Walter. What's his name? Walton Goggins. I like that guy a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
fingers crossed.
Yeah, he could be a good ghoul. He could do it. Yeah, I want to see him preaching. Preaching as a ghoul, a white supremacist ghoul. Can he do that?
Oh no,
a ghoul supremacist
who's really just a bank robber,
right? Yeah, right. Ghoul supremacy. All right, so I'm gonna bring us down. I'm gonna end on a really sad note. So everybody, get your cards and letters ready. Joe Manganiello has lost his childhood dream of playing a character in a Dragonlance live action adaptation. Oh. So it's official. Yeah, the Dragonlance live action project is not moving forward. And this is according to Joe himself. First he posted on social media, and then comicbook.com did an interview with him to get some of the details. And yes, so the quote that they got from the producers is that Dragonlance is not a property Wizards of the Coast are interested in developing further currently. One of those firm no's. And a couple of the factors that I think that the Joe is kind of speculating, I guess they cited. No, they actually cited. But the issues of Hasbro's sale of the E1 studio and the poor performance of both the Dragonlance adventure setting and the board game in 2022 was a reason that they said, maybe that's not going to be a big thing. But what else do you have? I mean, Dragonlance is one of the more popular settings with identifiable characters. It already has a story. And it's like, why would you not do that?
Yeah, Well, I think they answered it. They don't have the facility
It's
to do it themselves. Like, I bet you if Dragonlance was popular enough that some film company said, we want to do this, then WotC Hasbro would be like, oh, okay, cool. Give us a barrel load of money and you can go do it. But they've completely destroyed their ability to do anything like that.
Right.
Not that it would have been good if they did it anyway, but it's just, I still think in the next year or so, there could be a sale of WotC, not a D&D license, but an actual, like, they go somewhere, because all they're doing is shelving and canceling stuff and laying people off, which is narrowing their influence on the market. And eventually that's going to show up financially, and then Hasbro's going to notice, and like, they're not building, they're not growing, they're not building for growth, right? They've got their little gimmicks, like the Lord of the Rings Magic the Gathering set, but that's only going to hold up for so long, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it'll be like a with streaming services, they're going to release their VTT, their kind of, walled garden digital experience of D&D, and they're not going to have to tell anybody about what numbers they're doing. So they can say, yeah, this is incredibly popular. We have our own platform, and wouldn't you like to buy that for just, a few $1 billion? It could be yours.
Yeah. They'll pull Netflix and not tell anybody what their actual numbers are.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah.
And then, is it just me? Okay, I guess I'm a bad old gamer, but Dragonlance never did it for me. Like, I just never.
Yeah, I think I missed the timing with it too. Yeah,
I'm just like, I would look at like was it mostly Elmore and Parkinson? I think were doing, and I was like, kind of looks cool, but also sometimes looks kind of dopey, and I just never did it for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I never got through any of the books. Like, I think I started the first one a few times. It's like, okay, yeah, there's nothing that kind of locked me in. But Joe does say Tracy and Margaret were all about it, because Joe had a script. And he said, it was really me getting in there and fleshing out the world they built, and a world they hinted at in some places, but didn't shine the magnifying glass on. So Joe says what he had planned for season 1 was mind-blowing. He just wanted to make Dragonlance because he wanted to see it and wanted to feel that excitement, excited and electric about something. So he had a 1,000-page lookbook put together, had a script written that he was showing to people, a bunch of design concepts, and was going to try to do like a fresh take on the setting to kind of, revitalize it. So maybe, like you're saying, the look was kind of very standard. Hey, K5.
Oh my gosh, K5.
So it's very standard in their depiction of it. So maybe he's trying to spice it up a little bit. And he said, there's 35 million copies of those books in circulation. How can, there be no audience for this? And yes, so Joe said, I didn't write a terrible script. Calls were made to say that this was what you should be making, and this is what you should be doing, but currently to no avail. So, and like you just said too, Joe himself offered to buy Dragonlance. I was talking to people with money just to get it and separate it so we could get the option and take it out on the town. And that didn't happen. So those all of those efforts reached a dead end. Just couldn't get anybody. So he says maybe, kind of in closing, maybe somewhere down the road, somewhere down the line, someone comes back, or the company switches hands, or somebody sees the value. So I think he's kind of putting the blame on Wizards of the Coast, just saying it's not profitable, we're not interested, and they're still going to, if they still have the rights to Dragonlance, and they're not going to fight with the writers anymore. They will still have this, and maybe someone will want to do something with it someday. But Joe's not getting any younger, so if you want to get him involved, I would do it sooner rather than later.
Old Joey Pittsburgh, like what my wife was a fiend for that True Blood show back in the day. I wasn't really feeling it, but she loved it, and I don't think I was a target audience at all.
Yeah,
and like, but what has he actually done since that?
Oh, show? Yeah. He was in. They listed a couple of his credits in the interview. Yeah, True Blood was the big thing that he got noticed for, and he was also in. I'm blanking, but the thing that I really liked him in, that I could tell that he got it. It was a surprising actor to see in this project, but he totally gets the humor, so it made sense. And he was, playing a kind of a comedy role, but he was in that that Netflix Pee Wee Herman project.
Oh, I haven't watched that.
It's really funny because there's this weird, sexual tension between him and Pee Wee, and he knows how to play it. Like Pee Wee is attracted, like a kind of a little boy idolizing one of the cool kids in high school or whatever. But there was this weird tension between him and Pee Wee, and he played it perfectly. It was amazing. Like he got Paul Rubin's sense of humor that they were trying to do, that weird kind of, this is a kid, but this is, very adult kind of, winking at the audience, like how silly the tone of this is. It's, has a little bit of a burlesque tone, or, all the stuff that Pee Wee did. But True Blood and something else. It's not coming to mind, but he's had a couple of decent sized projects, but now he's the celebrity D&D player. But
two people, I'm sorry to interrupt, two people from True Blood did that. Him and Deborah Ann Wool.
Oh, yeah.
Who I was on board for in that show, but we won't get into that. They both tried to tie themselves to WotC and D&D media kind of stuff, and I think they both had kind of mediocre success with that.
Yeah. Once True Blood got to those Oz levels of full frontal male nudity, I was like, I think I'm not the demographic. I just don't think that. I don't think this show is where I'm supposed to be right now. But but the thing that's so ridiculous is, and I guess they're already seeing this as a mistake because you can't find these shows anywhere, but they threw who knows how much money. I would imagine, it was over $1 million at some of these fast channel little cute cooking shows and actual play shows. They threw money at things that were just like that. Fester Purple Worm Kill is just an infomercial for Beadle and Grimm. Basically, it's just like the founders of that company doing a quick little actual play, and their logo is everywhere. Every coffee mug that somebody has Beadle and Grimm on it. There's their merchandise on shelves behind them on the set. So it's they threw money at that, and they can't at least license Dragonlance to Joe and his his backers here. It's silly. Yeah. So I don't think they really know. And I guess after the sale of E1, they aren't really that interested in media. They're going to let other people do that, and they'll collect their percent. It sounds like. But so no Dragonlance. A childhood dream of Joe's is now over.
Oh, shucks. I'll just have to go back to being a rich guy that plays D&D.
Yeah, that sucks. Keep getting those royalty checks and running or playing in that campaign. So our last best hope is what Henry Cavill is doing, the Warhammer 40K stuff. So we'll see how he does with Amazon. At least Amazon has signed a contract, so they may never produce anything, but they're going to develop the hell out of those ideas, I'm sure.
Well, if we get more of the executives who were overseeing the boys, and less of the executives that were overseeing Rings of Power, it might work out. It might work out. Yes.
Yeah. I'm curious what they're going to do. And the level of, CG and stuff, and even if they're going to do any real sets, it's going to be insane for anything 40K. The production time is going to be considerable. It's going to be a few years, so we're not going to see anything for a while. I would imagine, unless it's just going to be walk and talks in hallways with inquisitors. I don't think they're going to be able to get anything done quickly.
The board meetings of the Inquisition.
Yes, right. Trade negotiations. All right. Yes. So that will do it for this week. So sorry to end it on such a down note, but this just came out he just posted this like yesterday. So people have been all asking him about it. So no more Dragonlance. So where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram and Threads. It's at Hargald, HARGALD. Right now, talking a little role playing. There's some major Formula One drama, so some of what I'm talking about is not game related. It's funny when millionaires do stupid things, but anyway. And working on the layout for my freshly beta test adventure that a certain Jeremy is doing artwork for me for.
Yes.
Yeah, so
excellent.
I'm hoping my goal is in the next 3 to 4 months to have it actually something you can purchase on RPG, drive-through RPG and that sort of thing. And I'm probably going a little overboard. There's a lot more art in this, and I've already been talking to the Loot the Body guy to do a theme song for it.
Nice.
and he has quoted me a very reasonable price. So I think I'm going to do it.
Wow.
And I hope I don't regret it. But yeah, and we'll see how it all turns out. How about you?
All right. So I expect you to be pressing some vinyl and sourcing some cassette tapes and everything. Yeah. Nice. So I'm still doing the Abuse Cartoons live stream. So that's every Wednesday night, kind of North American time. And so I draw the two cartoons of the week for domestic abuse, and it's a single panel gag cartoon, kind of magazine style. And so live stream the creation of that and eat some Japanese snacks, and they just keep getting weirder. And so that's Abuse Cartoons on YouTube and Twitch, and then on all social media. And if you want to read that cartoon, gocomics.com/domestic abuse. And if you like what we're doing with the weekly, please consider becoming a weekling. So patreon.com/upturntable, you can become a weekling and kind of let us know what you want to see more of on our weekly review of different topics. Are there too many skirmish games? Should we be talking less about skirmish games? And what kind of things you'd like to see? And then, of course, upturntable.com is the website for everything, and on all social media, upturntable. And so I will be seeing Matt very soon. So tomorrow we'll finish, possibly finish, or somebody's character may be finished in the next session of Blade Runner. So we're doing Case File 2, the Fiery Angels case with the same two characters plus one. So we added Terry. Terry's playing Bishop, another replicant. So Perez is outnumbered.
Lousy with skin jobs.
Yes. So we'll see how things go. And he has no idea how outnumbered he truly is, because I keep finding out people are replicants that shouldn't be replicants. So so join us for the live stream of that. So it's just the raw audio from the live stream. So there's rules lookups and bathroom breaks and stuff. So we'll have a nice edited version with some nice graphics. But the Foundry tabletop is okay, as long as I don't have to roll all the dice this time. It should be fine. Yeah, we had a connection problem last time, so the players were watching the live stream to see what their characters were doing, just like the audience.
Jeremy's just talking to himself. It's crazy.
Back and forth. I'm clicking dice, and opening character sheets. So tune in for that, and there'll be more unboxings and things. I've got some great stuff from Spellcrow, some more Argatoria stuff to take a look at. There's a little bit of everything. The expansion for Dark Tower Returns came out. They're little the extra colorful skulls and things for your tower. So some fun stuff coming up. So thanks everybody for joining us. And Matt and I will take a little break. You can watch a little music video of the new release. Overwrite the Past by Kokoro Nome. And we'll be back in just a minute. So see you soon.
Bye.
Goodbye.